Okay. So motherhood is an evolving concept, and across time and across history, motherhood has looked quite differently depending on the social and the cultural contexts that shape a mother's experience. How motherhood was experienced by your mother and your grandmother is going to look very different than how you experience motherhood. Okay, but there are common themes that encapsulate motherhood. And these common themes have been pervasive across time and across history. And they're sort of like, the golden truths of motherhood. And we've seen these themes play out in mythology and art and literature. And one of the most prevalent themes is the theme of sacrifice or unselfish motherhood. And of course, this theme comes as no surprise. Personally, I know several mothers who have said that they feel like they had lost themselves to motherhood. And when I think about this, and when I think about motherhood, I can't help but think of Leonard Cohen's words, "In love we disappear." So this theme of sacrificial love is very prevalent in motherhood experiences. And we see this across cultures and across eras. Psychologically, through sacrifice, the ego dissolves like salt in water. In fact, Carl Jung and other psychoanalysts refer to this as ego-dissolution, and they acknowledge that dissolution is necessary for self-transformation and for individuation and personal healing. So it's a necessary step in the development of the ego. Exactly how each mother experiences sacrifice will depend, on her own unique circumstances, but sacrifice she will. Otherwise, the opportunity to really change and to reach new depths of selfhood will be sacrifice. And this part of the dissolving process involves a deconstruction of what are referred to as false ego constructs. As I mentioned in the previous post, motherhood can surface all kinds of unconscious material. That is, repressed feelings, hidden aspects of the self and of one's personality. And in order for the ego to move beyond these false constructs, first it has to acknowledge what those constructs are. And this process can be very, very confusing, and at times it can be very painful. In fact, a woman might acknowledge aspects of herself. Some examples might be controlling behavior or people-pleasing tendencies, boundary issues, and feelings of mistrust. So the surfacing of this material can feel a lot like depression. It can feel like anger. It can feel like anxiety. And often, more or less, lifelong themes, even from one's childhood, can spill into motherhood, where we have the opportunity to sort of tend to them. The historical use of the word sacrifice is very unique. The word sacrifice derives from the Latin word sacrificium, which is a blending of the words sacer, meaning something set apart from the secular or the profane, and facere, meaning to make. Combined, these words describe a renunciation of or giving up of something important in order to exchange it for something more precious. So the latter half of the word is interesting, which is to make. Here we might almost conceptualize that a piece of what has been sacrificed is used to stitch together something altogether new and to bring life to that creation. So in this sense, sacrifice is almost a necessary component for creativity and for constructing something else or someone else. So as ego-dissolution takes place in the mother, something very unique happens. Her child will reflect other aspects of who she thinks she is. Ultimately, how a mother accepts and integrates these aspects of herself into her conscious identity will more or less determine how she experiences herself in motherhood. So lots to think about. I'm going to leave it there, nice and open, And if you enjoyed this topic or if it resonated with you, please feel free to share your thoughts and your experiences below.